Welcome back to the Seaboard Central, everyone, in part 4 in following this former Allagash boxcar around the layout. In today's video, we're going to cover the next event that's due to happen to this car, and it's going to be something kind of unusual, but it'll involve spotting it at an industry. What makes this move kind of unusual is that it is going to a private contract repair shop to get cleaned out and prepped prior to its next loading. And that shop is called Estes Railcar Service, and it's located adjacent to the Seaboard Central Locomotive shops here in Gadsden. And you can see a SC covered hopper currently located on the track. And the class code for this industry is A18. So all of the train crews that work industries on the Seaboard Central will get what you call an industry work order. And this is actually based off of prototype industry work order that I've formatted for the Seaboard Central. Has a place to list for the conductor, the engines that you use. Any kind of special instructions for the conductor will be listed here, miscellaneous instructions. Here's the class code for the industry and the name of the industry and the location of the industry. Here's your instructions on whether to pull or place cars. Here's the car number, whether it's loaded or empty. This just shows where the current track where they're at, where they need to go to. And you list where end up putting the cars. So these two cars that were pulled went over to GY04. There's the time that they were put into track 4. And these cars from GY09 went to A45 and the time they were placed. And the same thing here for this A46, which is just another part of the plant. Now, to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, here's the Goodyear tire and rubber plant along the backdrop. You can see a couple of carbon black cars at the end of the track, and a tank car of lube oil is spotted up, and also a box car that was loaded with latex rubber that's currently being unloaded. And here's the two empty carbon black cars that made it to GY04, and you got a box car and a tank car that's been pulled that's in GY06. So here's the industry work order for Y81, which is what we'll be dealing with today. And they have 3 customers on this route. And the first one is that A18 Estes Railcar Service. And you see where the covered hopper needs to be pulled and our box car needs to be placed. Also, they deal with the sand track cars for the general foreman. They're loaded with sand or biodiesel. And you see one that needs to be pulled and placed here. And also the track supervisor, which is the Gadsden team track. And they get cars for the track supervisor, and there's a new customer that's unloading some product out of a covered hopper on the team track, and they've also got one that needs to be pulled. All right, typically for formal operating sessions, I'll make this track inventory switch list, which is also based off of prototype paperwork, and it just shows the current inventory in the yard, all the car numbers and what they are and if they're loaded or not and where they're going, and that's represented by this class code column, which shows an abbreviation here. Here's track number 1, and it shows some cars in track number 1 and also track number 2. This is 1 and 2 is what I use for NS staging. So this will be the next track that'll be coming over to Gadsden from NS, and this is one that just went to NS. So it's pulling that NS class code. Track number 3 was what you just saw leave on train 484, and it's going to Carrollton's. You see that Carrollton, it's got a couple of Macons on there. And here's the car sequence of the car numbers, whether they're loaded or empty, the types. There's the tonnage, how much they weighed, and if they're loaded or empty. And then track 4, there's those 2 empty carbon blacks. Track 6 has got some cars going to the CSX. And here's what we're looking for, this track 9, and it's got, you see, there's our empty box car right there that needs to go over to A18. There's a couple of cars that need to go to the A20, which is the track supervisor. This surplus carbon black car will stay in the track, and then you got a covered hopper of sand that needs to go to the sand track. So to work Y81 today, we'll use our number 153, which is an XGATX MP15DC. It's been patched for the Seaboard Central. And you can see the covered hopper behind it on the sand track. It's empty and needs to come out, so while we're there, we might as well go ahead and pull it. And also, since we're on this end of the yard, we might as well go back to A18 and pull that empty covered hopper off of that track to go ahead and clear it out. So now that we're coupled up to track number 9, we need to switch it out. So follow along, I'll show you how we would actually do it on the prototype. So hope you enjoy it. And that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give it a like and tune in next week, and we'll see what happens next for our former Allagash boxcar on the Seaboard Central. Happy model railroading, everyone. If you enjoyed this video on the Seaboard Central, I appreciate a thumbs up. This helps the video show up on other people's feeds so they may find the channel. And if you're not already a subscriber, I'd invite you to join. And be sure to hit that bell for future notifications. Until next time, I'm Tim Garland, and thank you for watching the Seaboard Central.